live? You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Yeah, kind of in the end it was
Yeah, because they were eliminated. That's what the big at the beginning of that was, or in the middle.
Oh.
Because the Seahawks
I followed you.
played like booty. And then
They were totally cheap.
they were eliminated. And then they were like, maybe we should win? And then they're like, no, we should lose. And then Matt Prater was like, nah, we should lose twice. And so they lost. So the Cardinals lost because Matt Prater's real good at losing.
So I didn't know what the actual repercussions of that were for the Cardinals, but I noticed that by them losing, the only team worse than them in record was the Panthers, and then there's two other teams they were tied with. So I don't know who would have like second, third, fourth pick, but I know that helped their draft pick order.
Right, and what the Seahawks by winning probably didn't help their draft pick.
I'm gonna assume they did not.
And last I checked, they could use a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because what they got ain't the future.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel or whose fault you feel or whatever, like the discussion we had last year, I think even, like, you don't look at Geno at, 35, 36 and be like, that's the guy I want for the next 4 years. Right? So why not go find that guy?
Mm-hmm. It's supposedly is a good quarterback
me think
draft.
that Pete probably disagrees.
Right. Right.
Well, we can get into all that and more. We got a lot of good local sports stuff to talk about as well. But before we do all of that, we have to kick things off with the
2-minute
drill.
Woo! Let's go. Huddle up. Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation. 44 seconds. Hand the ball to ref. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye on 1.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
The Seattle Mariners traded some guys for some other guys.
Yes, they
Daniel,
did.
How should we feel about these guys that the Mariners traded for and the guys that they traded away?
We should feel overall good. I don't feel great about the Robbie Ray one, but I totally get why people do. Robbie Ray for Mitch Haniger, one injured dude for another injured dude, with both of them with high upside when they're healthy. Robbie Ray has had one injury that cost him a year and a half. Mitch Haniger has had a million injuries that have cost him about 3/4 of 5 or 6 different seasons. So in my opinion, I want Robbie Ray back because I think it's much more likely he stays healthy than Mitch Haniger does. But I understand that you have a wealth of pitching, so you trade a pitcher, and that's what they did, and that's what they got. I like Luke Raley. I think he's going to be good. Justin, Tennessee Titans got a win today, knocking out a division rival. How does that make you feel about their future going forward?
It's just so Mike Vrabel. Then I do like that if his mindset is. Did you hear his interview? They were like, what do you guys think about the repercussions of you guys losing this game or winning this game? And he's like, no, we're going to try to win. You know why? Because losing sucks.
Yes.
And when you lose, you can't sleep. And everything about losing sucks. And I like that he has the winning mentality of whatever happens in the organization happens in the organization. If they decide they're going to give us worse pieces so we can tank, more or less, that's fine. But me and the guys that I coach are going to go out on the field and try to win every single week. That part I do like.
I like it.
Daniel, the Seahawks
Yes.
are in need of a quarterback.
Yes, they are.
A big thing flying around here in the PN dub is that people would love if they were able to get Penix Jr. in the first round. How would you feel about bringing the Husky quarterback into the Seattle Seahawks locker room?
I'd feel good, except the last time they had a left-handed quarterback start games for him, it didn't go well. And oh wait, he was a Husky too, so probably wouldn't work out great. But I kind of like Penix as a guy, so I think I'd be okay with that. You know, just turn over the whole quarterback position. Draft Penix, sign Minshew, and no matter what, it'll work out because all Gardner do is win. He just farms wins. He just pulls up wins by the roots.
They lost
after he plants the seeds.
Yeah, they lost.
Don't tell me about how they lost.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, Justin, the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints had an interesting end of the game today. How do you feel about professional teams running up the score, and should we care?
We differ on this a little bit, maybe. I don't care about it at all. I'm like, go out there and stop them. And if you're going to give up and not stop, then they can just keep ramming it down your throat. The only time that it becomes an issue is if you're the coach of the team who's way ahead and you leave your starters out there too long, you put them in a bad spot and they get injured. I don't care about the feelings of the professionals on the other side. Oh no, their feelings are hurt. Oh, I feel so bad for them because they suck.
Yeah.
That's it. 2-minute drill.
It was very hard for me to tell when you guys were done because
there's no questions.
There's no questions.
Because the 2-minute drill on the show sheet was Mariners trades, Husky game, Seahawks question.
Yeah. Also, I had a moment when I paused and Daniel gave me this look like, are you joking? So where most people would be like, want to support and assist the person who's across from them. No, you were like, oh, you're about to fail.
Don't fail. Also, I was really hoping you'd come up with another question because after I asked my question, I realized that I wanted to get your opinion on the hurt feelings at the end of that New Orleans game because I have a similar feeling as it to you. Like, I think it's pointless to run up the score.
Yeah.
But you're professionals.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be crying about it on the other side.
No.
High school, on the other hand, I think the majority of teams that I watch don't pull their starters early enough for a plethora of different reasons. But one of the biggest reasons of that is because the reason you mentioned, if your players get hurt when you're in a game. Now, the only argument on the other side is when you get to the state seedings. And then they start looking about how much did you beat this team by. And unless you have a detailed description of, well, we were up 30-0 in the second quarter, so we pulled all of our starters and we won 30-14. The committee's still going to be like, you only won by 2 touchdowns over this garbage team. Yeah. And that's the crappy part. But really, what if you're up 30-0 in the second quarter, you you leave your starters in and your best player blows out his knee and then you don't make it to state anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the frustrating thing for me. Also, there's my wailing cry that I feel like people are annoyed by on my broadcasts now because the majority of football games we cover on the radio are blowouts. And almost every game I'm going, well, that starter's still in, up 45 in the fourth quarter. Wonder why that is. And it's always like, dude, you aren't building your program at all. All the kids coming up behind can get some great experience on varsity level football, even though the varsity you're playing against isn't as good as yours. They're still better than a random JV game you're going to be playing in. And they're still running their starters out there to get that 6th touchdown, or they're keeping their starters out there to get that shutout. And I'm like, you won the game by a ton. Now, is it just because I grew up in basketball and there is no such thing as a shutout? So there's one thing to not leave your starters in for. And in baseball, there's a really early mercy rule.
Yeah.
So, is it because I don't know. I feel like it's an obvious thing, and yet we still see it game in, game out, running your starters back out there in blowouts.
It's a little bit more complicated than you're making it because I think to do a really good job of subbing people in is really difficult because if you just swap teams out, they're not actually getting all that great of experience anyway. What you want is to allow your 3rd and 4th string wide receivers chances to run routes for your 1st string quarterback, and you want your 2nd string quarterback to get chances to throw passes to your best receivers over the course of a season. That's how you build good depth.
Good depth for that season. My
or
argument was
for future seasons.
My thing was you don't need, if your starting quarterback's a senior, he doesn't need to throw to the 2nd string receivers, and the 2nd string receivers don't need to catch balls from him.
Receivers can learn more catching from a good quarterback about I'm just
I
hypothetically.
think you have to know your team. I
but
think.
like, but for example, if you're catching passes from a quarterback who's also learning, that quarterback can't be like, I need you here.
Well, that coach is
he
supposed
might not
to
know that.
The coach is supposed to.
So
do
I
that.
think like
Fair.
kind of along with what Andrew's saying, like parallel to it is like you have to know your team because you can't put a team on the field. Like if your drop off from your full first team, let's using football for the example.
Right.
If your drop off from your full first team to your full second team is vast, and you know it is.
Right.
You don't want to put your whole second team out there against a varsity team that your starters are way better than, but
Right.
could just totally physically dominate them. It's good to mix in. This is one of the things I know we've talked about this a lot. This is one of the things that I think Terry Jensen and Montesano has done really well.
Yeah.
Is they'll go like mid-second quarter, they'll put like 3 guys in and then
Right.
3 more guys in later, and then they'll mix it in. So most of the time you have, until you get to like real garbage time in the fourth quarter, you have a mix of starters and subs on the field. And I think Andrew's right because you have to really know your personnel to know what the right mix will be.
Yeah.
That's my real point, is not advocating for any specific, like,
Right.
It's just that it's really complicated. To do it really well, you would probably need a couple coaches who that was their only job.
Right.
On a football, we're talking about football because God knows defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators and head coaches can't keep track of who's supposed to be on the field for the starters at any given time.
for
Like,
Yeah.
that's just the truth.
I'll give you an example, Daniel, of something that happened this week in high school sports here. Montesano's boys basketball team was playing against Eatonville.
Right.
They ended up, I don't remember what the score was at the point they made this move, but at halftime they were leading 45-23.
Mm-hmm.
So they were up by ballpark of 20 to 25 points
Right.
with 2 minutes left before the half. And the coaching staff made the decision that we're going to take the last 4 guys off the bench and put them all in the game right now. This is still the first half.
Right.
And I don't even think the decision was because, Eatonville sucks. Because I think Eatonville just played a really bad half.
Right.
But I think the idea was, because I had this conversation with someone who was near me, was like, wow, this seems kind of early to be pulling out all the guys from the main rotation. And my point was, these 4 guys off the end of the bench, all of them are physically capable.
Right.
And you don't want to be stuck in a situation late in the season where a couple guys get hurt and you need them and they haven't played at all in any meaningful time.
Yep.
So giving those guys the opportunity to play those 2 minutes
Huge.
of like real intense first half basketball.
Yeah.
I think it benefits you for the season that's happening now.
A ton.
So I think there's lots of reasons, and I believe that decision by the coaching staff was made out of a wealth of experience. Like, I think they knew. I think it was consciously like, this is going to help us. We're going to do this now.
Yep.
It ended up being a much closer game in the second half, and they only ended up winning. I think the lead got trimmed to 10 at one point. They ended up winning by 14.
Yeah.
But those guys had those 2 minutes on the floor in a time that all of Eatonville's starters was in the game. Everything that happened really mattered, and it was like full varsity intensity.
Right.
So
That's
I
huge.
think, and it is difficult, I think, sometimes going back to like the origin of this conversation, which was, why is it so hard? Why do guys leave their players in so long?
Right.
I think one thing is when you're the one who's in charge of the team, you're the one who's in charge of whether you win or lose. You never want to be the guy who overconfidently pulls your starters too fast, and then the game goes back to being close again.
Right.
And I have seen that happen. Not with like
Really?
a 40-point lead, but
I don't think, like, I can't remember the last time I saw that happen. It just seems like it's pushed so far the other way.
you haven't seen it. You haven't seen it where a starting unit gets pulled and then the game starts to turn and the coach goes, "Okay, never mind. Starting unit needs to go back."
You
out
know
there."
the closest thing that I've seen to that?
Uh-huh.
A starting unit got pulled and a shutout was on the line, and the other team got in the red zone, and the starters came back in on defense.
It's totally different.
And it was still 30-0.
But it's different.
I
in
still
football.
don't mind that at all either.
I don't-
like that sort of situational. Like, okay, well, inside the 10-yard line, we're just gonna put our guys back in.
I don't mind it as much, but again, your star player blows out his knee. Oh, glad we kept the shutout.
I don't think that is a valid criticism of a football decision because it could happen on any play.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're going to win, why are you still...
Your strategy can't be to minimize the number of snaps each that good player takes. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Why not? if the snaps aren't competitive and you've already got the game in hand, what's the point? Football is a game of attrition and having people healthy.
Really loosey-goosey and not objective.
It is absolutely objective. What's the point of having your best player play a non-competitive snap if he is so crucial to your team that you're going to have a hard time winning later? Because every snap, it could happen. So if there's snaps that don't matter, why are you taking the risk?
So your best quarterback, you should only be having in, like, the first couple downs, maybe?
What do you mean the first couple downs?
I'm saying you can – that is –
whatever you just said doesn't make sense. You're going to have to flesh that out a bit more.
Counts in an effort to reduce injury is silly.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. The approach is not the correct approach.
Like mathematically, it makes sense though, right? Because if you go
but
from,
you can't use that as
Why
the
not?
decision because that's what I'm saying. Because then it would make if you are coming to it with that approach, then you have to decide like what is competitive enough to play this player and what is not competitive. So
100%. That would be on my mind.
So
as a coach, if I had one guy who was MVP, like half my offense by himself, I would absolutely have a point threshold and a time threshold of when I get this kid out of every game that's not competitive. Both losing, I'm not sure about losing, but probably losing too.
Pushed. Because there's you say, oh yeah, I know, obviously this is a situation where I wouldn't have my best players in.
Right.
But when you come to it with that idea, everyone else is disagreeing about it. And then they're saying, no, he never should have been in that snap. And you're like, well, it was important. And they're like, it wasn't that important.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying that
that's not
every coach should have their threshold of when they're taking a kid out.
I don't think that being scared, trying to minimize a snap count should be part of the decision. I think that trying to develop other players is a much more realistic and like that is what you should be focusing on, not trying to keep a guy from getting hurt by limiting his snap count.
I think they're both equal. If your team is that blatantly dependent on a few players, then those are the first kids coming out then, and you can get the other kids the experience and stuff there.
Then if there's like one or two players who are incredibly better than all the others?
I mean, it doesn't matter as much if there's not as much of a drop-off, right? For that side of the argument, you're still trying to get as many players in and stuff, but I'm thinking if you don't have that big of a drop-off, you're probably going to be rotating those other guys in a lot more as it is. But if you have, let's say, you have a quarterback, receiver, running back who are freaks, they're never coming out of the game otherwise. So getting them out of the game gets other people experience at those spots, but it also saves them from possibly turning an ankle on a random running play when you're up 35 in the third quarter or 35 in the fourth quarter. And now you're like, great, now he's nursing that for the rest of the season, or he's out the next game, which is a playoff game. And then you're out 2/3 of your offensive weaponry when the rest of your offensive weapons really aren't that good. So I don't know.
I think from a mathematical standpoint, let's say you have 60 snaps in the game, right? And you have a 1 in 60 chance of getting hurt.
Yeah.
If your guy can play 30 snaps in the game, you cut his chances of being hurt in half. So it's like I get what you're saying, where it's like, well, it can happen at any point, and it's random.
Snaps.
Well, it gives you more opportunities. I'm not saying like the wear and tear of the game is going to make you more likely to be injured, but if the injury is random and you have half as many opportunities to be injured, you have half as much of a chance of getting hurt.
Right.
Which actually, the second part of the point.
The first part of the point I don't think that that's a good basis for I don't think that's the correct direction to come at the decision making.
Those things work together. So you're saying getting other guys the experience is more valuable, and I think that's true.
If you can pull the guy out securely and give other guys experience, you should be doing that regardless of whether you're worried about him getting hurt or not.
So here's the other part of it.
I don't think that should be part of it.
My dad says Andrew is a rugby player. They always play hurt.
Here's the other part of it. So first I was saying you never want to be the guy who pulls your players too early.
Right.
Because you'll look overconfident, and then if things go badly, then you're going to look like an idiot.
Yep.
So those guys are always going to tend towards make sure we win the game and have it secured.
Right.
But the other part of it is it assumes that, like, let's say you have a completely dominant team who's number one in points offensively and number one in points defensively through 10 games of regular season and crossovers.
Right.
So if you're playing
I wonder who this is about.
If you're playing 10 non-competitive games, that means that the guys who are your starters might only play 2 quarters a game.
Yep.
And it assumes, like, yeah, there are going to be guys on that team who don't need it.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of other guys there who still need reps,
Right.
who are on the starting unit. And if they don't, number one, learn how to play through a whole game and understand what the fatigue is of playing through a whole game, and number two, get a chance to work on everything that needs to be worked on throughout the course of a game, that could be another reason for leaving guys in a little late. But I don't think that's what you're talking about. I think you're talking about game in hand, it's a blowout. Why are guys still leaving their players in football, basketball, when there's no question about and it's like 6 minutes from the game being over?
Yes.
And that's where I don't
Yes.
disagree with you about what they should be doing. People should be subbing
Yeah,
in.
we were having a
about
reasoning.
I disagree about the thought process
Right.
that should be taken.
And I think I probably would be more on your side of that thought process had I not seen a Hoquiam team that had 2 offensive weapons both get hurt in the final 5 minutes of a 35-point game.
Right.
And then the rest of the season was significantly worse. And those 2 kids weren't even out for the year. But they had nagging injuries that made them half of explosive the whole way. And then, seemed like every game they were re-injuring. And I'm like, this all could have been avoided if you weren't trying to put up 40 on Aberdeen.
I know you don't like the argument that you're more likely to get hurt if you're not going 100%.
Yeah.
But that works in your favor in this aspect, in that at the end of a game, you don't want your starters out. If you believe that trying to not go 100% increases the risk of an injury,
Right.
you don't want your starters out there up 60 points going, whatever, I'm just going through the motions.
Right.
You'd much rather have your second string, third string going all out, trying to prove themselves.
Exactly. For sure. That's another good point.
Mm-hmm. But
I always was like, meh, you say I'm going to get hurt if I don't try and go hard and break this tackle, but pretty sure I'm not going to get hurt if I go down right now.
I think it's more complex than that.
It is. Yeah. I'm just saying that I was not your typical football player, and I was like, I got the ball. I got a first down. I'm going to take a nice little seat right here.
Yeah.
First down.
But I know what we're talking about, and like why this gets brought up is because we're talking about high school sports.
Yes.
And
because that's the other thing. You don't want to rub it in.
Yeah.
They're kids.
Teaching how to win with class
Certain
and how
teams
to
you
lose
kinda
with
do
class,
wanna rub
it
it in.
should be a focus of high school sports.
Right.
I don't think it necessarily is, but it should be.
certain teams you do want to rub it in. I just want to put that out there. It's okay to rub it in if you don't like your opponent.
It's okay to rub it in
if
you're
Eatonville
playing
and Tenino.
Oregon.
If you're playing
No,
Oregon.
I'm cool with Eatonville.
You're cool with Eatonville now?
Mhm. I've been cool with Eatonville.
No, you haven't been cool with Eatonville.
Well
just hate
known
Tenino.
Eatonville lover.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about Tenino. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry. That was a huge diatribe. Or not diatribe.
Oh,
Sidetrack.
It's come up before and it'll come up again.
Yep.
But for now, let's move on to my favorite part of the show.
Ooh.
I lost it. Here we go. Hold on.
Serving questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Stump Daniel is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz, no relation.
What's the A stand for?
And Daniel, this week I have a stat for you from ESPN Stats and Info via Elias Sports.
Random stat?
Yes.
Okay.
Daniel, this rookie wide receiver
Yes.
is the only rookie wide receiver since D, with 2 game-winning touchdown receptions in the final minute of the 4th quarter. This rookie wide receiver is the only rookie wide receiver since 1960 with 2 game-winning touchdown receptions in the final minute
Can I hear
of
it
the
in a
4th
sentence?
quarter. That was a sentence, my dude. Do you want the country of origin?
Would that help?
United States.
How about if I guessed it? Oh, I was going to say, how about if I guessed the country of origin?
Guess the country of Oregon. We live in the country of Washington, so
Yeah, but it used to be the Oregon Territory, right?
I don't know. I played that Oregon Trail game. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I found out that Lewis County used to be like from Northern California to like Alaska.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was massive.
Interesting. I didn't know that it was.
Maybe it's not that, but it was
That's
oddly huge when I first saw it.
Interesting.
Because it's listed as like the oldest county.
Lewis
or
County
something.
So it
is
was
not the correct
originally
answer.
a part of the Oregon Territories. Or
I got a hint. Somebody messaged me
Oh.
an answer.
Who is it?
It's and I looked at the
Daniel's
message.
a journalist. He doesn't expose his sources.
Yeah, exactly. It was Coach Eddie.
Okay.
Coach Eddie shot me what he thinks it is.
Okay.
And since I have no other clue of what to guess,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with him.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Well, Coach Eddie, that is correct.
Let's go.
Coach Eddie, you have won Stump Daniel this week. Daniel
Hey.
loses because
Aw.
he didn't know the answer. But yeah, this was after the game-winning touchdown he caught against the Eagles. It was Eagles, right? He also caught the game-winning touchdown in the final minute against
The Cowboys?
Cowboys.
No, wait. They lost to the Cowboys, didn't they? Yeah, they lost
I
to the
think it was
Cowboys.
the Eagles.
Wow.
But it's the Eagles.
It's your
in
question, man.
It's the Eagles in this picture. But it says the other one that he caught was Week 7 versus Cleveland. Game-winning touchdown in the final minute. Only rookie to do that since 1960.
Wow. That's
Anyway, that will conclude Stump
who
Daniel.
did it in 1960?
I don't know.
A lot of research on this
Steve Largent. Probably.
Yeah. The county was created as Vancouver County in 1845.
But it has
And the name was
different
changed to
borders.
honor. In 1849, it was changed to Lewis in honor of Meriwether Lewis. At the time, the county included all U.S. lands north of the Cowlitz River, including much of Puget Sound,
Oh, wow.
much of the Puget Sound region, and British Columbia. Wait, we had parts of British Columbia?
Yeah,
Why'd we
fought a
give
war
that up?
over it.
We lost? To
Yeah.
the Canadians?
Pig war.
Really? Pig
I
war?
just made
She's
that
just
up.
making
I'm
stuff
playing
up?
very fast and loose with the facts here. The pig war was real. It was not an actual war, though. And I don't know if it was
The initial establishment of a county seat was Clackwato in 1862. The honor being relinquished in 1874 in favor of Chehalis. Weird. Anyway, yeah. So see, it was like the massive. It was from the Cowlitz north. That was Lewis County.
Wow.
Weird. Anyway, sorry.
That's all. Daniel, should Pete Carroll be fired?
Yeah, why not? I don't know.
It's just an extension of the 2-minute drill.
There's zero chance he steps down, right? Like there's
That would go against Win Forever.
That's what I think as well.
You think there's zero chance?
That he steps down?
Zero chance?
I feel like it's really low.
Like 1 in a million?
1 in a million?
So you're telling
Comes
me
up
there's
10
a
times
chance?
that.
I think they're going to stick with him. They stuck with him through the Russell drama. If a quarterback can't kill you, what can? So, I mean...
Well, to argue the other side,
Okay.
they stuck with him through the Russ drama, and 2 years later, has he successfully proven that they should have? And I think he probably has.
I think he probably has.
But
But
that would
has
be
he...
the-
But has he successfully... I think he proved that he should have, but did he successfully move on after that?
Yeah.
You
I'll
know,
be honest,
like...
this
I don't know.
season felt worse to me than I remember most of the other difficult seasons feeling. It felt like this team should have been way better.
Yeah.
Like the last few years it's felt like they weren't that good. This year it felt like at times this team was incredible.
Yeah.
They
Well, I
had
mean,
the talent.
Look at the
but
weapons they have on offense.
They were so inconsistent.
Which makes me wonder, like when Geno Smith is taking his time in the pocket, is the defense really good enough to just shut down DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba all out running routes?
Is Tyler Lockett maybe not as good as he used to be?
I mean, I'm sure
statistically he was definitely not as good this year.
True. But, I mean, the dude still runs routes and finds himself open by like 20 yards fairly often.
If you say he's not as good as he used to be, then you're like, okay, he might be the third best of those three elite receivers.
Yeah, there's 3 really good receivers. So is their scheme just that bad that you can have 3 really good receivers being covered for 5 seconds?
How can it be? Wasn't Shane Waldron blessed by Sean McVay?
Right?
So important to not throw an interception. Like if you get a gunslinger, if you get who's a modern gunslinger?
Drew Lock.
Josh Allen.
They always call him Josh Allen. Yeah.
Okay.
Mahomes.
If you get Josh Allen or Mahomes, do you get like
Taking care
4
of the
more
nuggies.
touchdowns and 2 to 3 more interceptions per game?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Part of me thinks maybe you'd get like a ton more yards and another interception per game or something.
Well, nobody turns the ball over quite like Josh Allen.
Really?
He's pretty skilled at it.
Is he really good at it?
Yeah.
Just gives it to the other team a lot?
Yeah, whether by fumble or interception, yeah.
Wasn't him breaking out kind of when he had that year where he inexplicably wasn't giving the ball away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They still actually turned it over kind of a lot, but not as much as he had previously.
Gotcha. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
it just made me think today because and it's not like it happened much because
we ended on a win, Daniel.
Do you just
we
say
were
it made you think
there.
today, and that's not something that happens much?
yeah, well, I was kind of cut off in an
It went
inopportune
down to the
moment.
wire, Daniel, and they were out there fighting, just
fighting,
had
fighting,
it down
clawing,
to the
scratching
wire.
down to the wire. Team never gave up. They
It
just
was
got
right
eliminated
at the end
at
that they got eliminated.
eliminated at the last day.
They believed they were going to make it to the Super Bowl the whole time.
Now it's just sounding like the Mariners. This year sucks.
No, the Mariners don't believe they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. They believe they're going to win 54% of the time, Daniel.
I think that in our baseball group chat, we agreed that it was down to 31%.
Yeah, I thought it was 3.1%.
Oh, yeah, it ended up at 3.1%.
It was all the way
So
down
they
to
would
3.1.
Be 5 and 157 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This year sucks.
Yeah.
2023 can just go home.
And on top of it, we're going to have to deal with Husky fans.
Oh!
It's 2024.
It is 2024.
Yeah, but the Seahawks season was mostly 2023. Yeah, so I'm counting you in there.
The only...
There's no good outcome, by the way, from the national championship
Yes,
game.
the only...
There's no good outcome.
The only...
I'll be happy if the Huskies win.
There's no good outcome.
If the Huskies win, I will feel this vindictive, like, righteous anger at all of the rest of college football for allowing the Huskies to destroy the Pac-12 and also for overlooking the Pac-12 for its entire existence.
Yep, absolutely.
If they lose, I'll be kind of depressed that they weren't as good. And also, I'll be making fun of Michigan for cheating.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that plan.
Well, Michigan can't win. That would just suck.
Yeah,
It would.
yeah.
So
But
the
it'll
Huskies need it.
really suck when the Huskies
Gosh.
win, too.
By the way, last week, that was this week, right? The game was on Monday.
Yeah.
That rule needs to get changed in a heartbeat.
The injury timeout.
The
rule.
injury timeout rule?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? A team's running out the clock, and one of their players gets hurt, and you're like, you shouldn't have got hurt, bud. You guys are screwed now.
Because the incentive
That was
there,
bizarre.
the incentive
that
there is to
literally-
force him to try to get off the field on his own power.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what college football
Not just
wanted.
that,
No.
the incentive there is
It's to
on
hurt
a kneel
people.
down to hurt the other team.
Yeah, that's a good
If
point.
you can hurt somebody, you're golden.
Yeah.
That's
Well, hurt
Well, you
somebody
get a
without
personal
getting a
foul.
flag.
Yeah, that's
Which
that wouldn't be that hard.
Michael Bennett could figure it out, I bet. Well, all you got to do is eye poke somebody.
That's
Sneaky
what I mean.
like.
Like all you need
Sneaky like.
But then that guy might be able to get off the field on his own
or
power.
give somebody a really good shot with your knee.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you don't need to do something so far outside of a football move. Like we played with some crafty from crafty dudes who told us about some horrible things they would do at the bottom of weird things of piles. And all you have to do is create a random pile on a kneel down. We've seen that before. And then all of a sudden, hands and knees and feet go weird places.
Think about how easy it would... this would take somebody who really had no...
Scruples
at all.
No scruples.
But think about how easy it would be to break a finger in a pile.
Think about how many unscrupulous. Yeah, that's true. Breaking a finger in a pile would be pretty easy.
That wouldn't make the person not be able to get off the field.
What if he doesn't know the rule? And he's just like, my finger, and he sits down because what are you taught to do when you get hurt?
Take a knee.
Take a knee. I don't know. But also, break a finger, maybe not be a good one. But
break a toe?
Yeah.
Well, breaking a toe would be harder.
Break a foot.
Error. YouTube is not responding. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah. YouTube's being... It's just a thing.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, could you imagine being Dylan Johnson? And if they had lost.
Oh my god.
And you're like,
but I broke my foot.
Exactly. Like, holy crap. And if you don't know what we're talking about, UW was running out the clock. Texas had no timeouts. And on third down, they're running play, and they should have punted with 15 seconds left?
Something like 17.
And instead, injury timeout, 50 seconds on the clock. And you're like, what? And then Pax is trying to bring down the show by wrapping himself in cords.
To prevent him from doing it, and then in turn, I knocked the thing over.
Yeah, well, now he's putting himself into the cords.
He's just so strong.
He is very strong and massive.
Yeah. He's in trouble.
And I loved how there's that announcement though, because apparently the other team can allow a 10-second runoff. Did you hear that little part?
Yeah.
I feel like isn't being talked about at all either. Because the other team, out of show of good sportsmanship, can allow a 10-second runoff.
I wouldn't do it.
Well, you would have to really be virtue signaling to do it, right? Yeah. But the announcement comes over and it's like, Texas has elected to not allow the 10-second runoff. And I'm like, oh, of course, but say it louder. But seriously, that is a dumb rule.
I agree.
And it doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to just fix. Like, why?
It's college football, so
nothing
that's
gets
a
fixed.
feature, Daniel.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, you think it's a problem? We're going to make it worse.
Yeah, anyway.
Take that.
That made a game that wasn't very close all of a sudden an absolute nail-biter. Because the game didn't really feel that close. It felt like Texas was hanging around because of stupid mistakes.
It really didn't feel close till the last couple minutes.
Yeah, and then you were like, oh crap, oh no, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I remembered that I actually didn't like UW, and I was
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Well, we've got local sports to talk about, and we have to name a Spivey Athlete of the Week. But before we do that, let's take a quick commercial break.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Justin, how do you spell that name?
DAMASIEWICZ.
Then you must be related.
No relation.
That is your last name, though, right?
Yeah. There's just a lot of Domashevitzes out there.
I don't.
Or Domashevi.
Super common name.
Domashevi?
I don't think it's Latin. I don't think it's Latin.
That's the plural?
Yeah.
Is it only, you only go with the I when it's Latin, Andrew?
Is
the
octopus
reason
a Latin
they
word?
go the reason
Octopi?
they go to Latin, or I'm sorry, the reason it goes to I for plural is because of Latin declensions. So he
just used a word that I don't know what it means.
It only happens when the root word of the word
declension is what
Latin.
you do when you really had to go to the bathroom and then you finally get to let it go.
Octopus is
Declension.
based I don't remember. Octopus has a Latin root.
Octo?
I think so,
Puss.
but also there might be more. Anyways, that's why it's
Gotcha.
super inconsistent because English borrows from all of the languages
Because English
and isn't consistent.
what it wants.
I have heard that you can say octopi or octopuses, and either is correct.
Octopuses would be correct if you wanted to say that you were just working with a strictly uniform American, not pronunciations, but like, I don't know. I'm not a language
Rule-based?
expert.
You sounded like one for a minute there.
How often do you think that
I did
he's
take Latin.
just like all the stuff that he says that makes him sound so smart? How often is it just totally made up? Like,
Well, it's always
Is he
totally
good?
made up, but the fact is that he then checks and it's usually right.
so is he good at knowing things or is he good at guessing things?
He's good at guessing things. From his random trips down Wikipedia rabbit holes, he retains about things. Andrew, did you take the SAT?
Yeah.
What did you get on the English portion?
I got I think 800. I don't know. It was a perfect score in the English.
This guy.
Ask
That's
me
a
about
lot.
my math.
How was your
Not a
math score?
perfect score. I think I almost passed it.
Did you get any points?
Yeah, it was like 5 something. It was
Really?
real bad.
You got over
I was
1,300
so
on
bad.
your SATs? Nice job.
I never took it. Did you take it?
I did, but I don't remember my score.
So that means that it wasn't remarkable either way.
Correct. It
'Cause
was
you-
very average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never took it.
I want to
because
say it was
I
in
didn't
like
have to.
the 1150 range or something like that.
I will say the blank is to blank as blank is to blank is something that I would do for fun forever.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Red is to orange. His car is to.
Yeah.
Octopi.
All right. Oh, enough of Andrew's English lecture. Let's take a look at the local sports roundup. I couldn't think of a catchy, cool thing to say. In a book, it's local sports roundup.
Elma's boys basketball team came back from a 12-point second-half deficit to knock off Hoquiam 49-47 in an Evergreen 1A league opener. Traden Carter converted an old-fashioned three-point play with 33 seconds left to give Elma the lead. Carter scored the Eagles' last and tallied 12 total in the contest. Kaysen Seaberg led Elma with 16 points, Lincoln Nemi led Hoquiam with 16 points, and Chance LaBounty recorded a double-double with 10 points and 10 rebounds.
Hoquiam dropped to 0-2 in league play with a 59-45 loss at Tenino. Gross on Thursday. Nemi scored 22 points and dished out 3 assists. Xander Jump added 14 points and 6 boards.
Montesano's boys basketball team dropped its season league opener at Tenino on Tuesday 59-46. Tice Peterson led the Bulldogs with 15 points. Gabe Bodwell added 13.
I don't like these Tenino highlights.
Monty bounced back with a 61-47 home win over Eatonville on Thursday. Bodwell led the way with 14 points while Peterson added 11. Soren Cobb chipped in 10.
Those are some tall kids.
Monty will host Elma in a key league matchup on Tuesday. Daniel will be there, and hopefully I will too.
Oh, are you going to broadcast it with me?
If I make it, yes.
Sweet. So you don't have the same anxiety of watching basketball games as you do football games?
No.
Okay, good to know. Because I don't know if I'd let you on the broadcast if that was the case. Aberdeen's boys basketball team fell to WF West 62-22 on Tuesday to drop to 2-3 in Evergreen 2A league play. The Bobcats dropped another league contest on Thursday at Schmelton 47-35. Manny Garcia led the Bulldogs. Bobcats led the Bobcats with 15
That was
points.
a typo.
That was a burgundy moment there. Sorry.
Despite scoring in the 70s and shooting 45% from the field, Willapa Valley's boys basketball team lost a home game to Morton White Pass on Wednesday, 77-73.
MWP is pretty good at basketball a lot of the time.
Blaine King led the Vikings with 24 points while also dishing out 4 assists. Nate Fluke added 19 points and 14 rebounds.
No fluke.
Valley bounced back on Thursday with a 47-44 win at Washington School for the Deaf.
Vastly different game.
King and Fluke each scored 14 points.
Raymond's boys basketball team beat rival South Bend on Friday 67-37. You ever get annoyed with me just interrupting you while you're reading?
No.
Austin Snodgrass led the Seagulls with 13 points. Isaac Schluter added 12, and Chris Quintana and Ashton Kongbouquet, I think that's right, chipped in 11 points apiece.
Elma's girls basketball team picked up a 46-30 league opening win over Hoquiam on Wednesday. Elma's Eliza Sibbett led all scorers with 16 points. Lexi LeBounty led Hoquiam with 10 points.
Hoquiam was back in action on Friday and picked up a 30-27 win. Oh, I said 7 weird. At Tenino. The Grizzlies trailed by 4 points with a minute left, but buckets by Dylan Little and Nadine Stewart tied the game, and Avery Howard free throw put Hoquiam ahead, and LeBounty's score extended the lead with a layup. LeBounty's 8 points paced the Grizzlies in the game. I said placed, and it really messed me up.
Before that, you said saving.
Saving.
Montesano's girls basketball team picked up a wire-to-wire home win over Tenino 51-11 on Wednesday.
I would be surprised if that score wasn't a wire-to-wire win, Justin.
Teander Olson, well, you never know. They could have scored first.
Scored first.
Teander Olson led the Bulldogs with 18 points, while Jilly Dalen chipped in 13.
Evangeli.
Monty improved to 2-0 in league play with a 57-43 win at Eatonville on Friday. Olson racked up 16 points, 8 assists, and 4 steals. Dalen added 14 points and 14 boards. And Lexi Stanfield led all scorers with 17 points while also swiping 4 steals. The Bulldogs will make the short trip to Elma on Wednesday.
They put it as Lex Stanfield in their program.
I noticed that.
And I asked about it, and it was really hard for me during the broadcast to not have the I at the end of it. 18 points, and Sophie Knutson pulled down 8 rebounds. The Bobcats bounced back with a 46-42 road win over Raymond South Bend on Thursday. Aberdeen's Annie Troe led all scorers with 22 points, and Zoe Troe recorded 5 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 steals. That's 13 rebounds from someone who's about 5'2". Megan Kongbuke led RSB with 14 points. On Friday, the Bobcats played their 3rd game in as many days and notched a league win over Shelton, 45-31, improving to 8-5 on the season. Annie Troe scored a game-high 18 points and snagged 6 boards.
Aberdeen won 8 of 14 matches in a home dual meet Thursday to beat Shelton 37-29. That's wrestling, by the way. Aberdeen got pinfall wins from Talathian Warnes at 113 pounds, Jaden Williams at 126 pounds, Mikey Hatton at 150, and Paul Baltazar at 285.
That's a big guy.
Eric Silveria won by major decision, while Aiden Watkins, Isaac Cisneros Serrato, and Trevin Stewart each won by decision.
Did anybody not win for Aberdeen in that?
Well, they won 8 out of 14 matches.
Right. I went back to the start and was like, oh, wait, 8 out of 14.
Yeah. So, yes, then.
What are the other weights? I guess there's a lot of weight classes, huh? Elma's Xavier Espinoza won 3 matches by pinfall to win the 106 weight class in the Castle Rock tournament on Saturday. Lucky Duvier?
I'm going to say Duvier.
Duvier took co-third at 157. Elma took 7th place out of 20 teams with just 8 wrestlers in their lineup. The Eagles also sent some wrestlers to North Beach on Saturday for another tournament and took 2nd as a team. Caden Rademacher placed 2nd at 138, Liam McManus 2nd at 157, Isaac Phillips 2nd at 175, Jimmy Gertson 2nd at 285, Levi Russell 3rd at 165, Luis Torres 4th at 113, and Rob Osborne 4th at 150.
Last weekend, Elma wrestled at Vashon Island. Vashon
Should have
Island.
asked Pastor Kai about that.
And took 4th as a team with standout performances from Xavier Espinoza, who took 1st place at 113. Aiden Johnson, 3rd place at 120. Wow, 20, that'd be really light. 3rd place at 120. And Cale Reeves, 3rd place at 132. Sophomore second-year wrestler Liam McManus had a very good tournament by making the semis and finishing 5th place at 157. Caden Rademacher also finished 5th in a tough 138 bracket. And that will conclude the local sports roundup portion of the roundup.
Anchor's
going
to wrap up that 20 weight class.
No, I think he'd have to cut a little bit of weight.
Well, you want to cut a little bit.
Yeah, good point. He'd have to cut 4 pounds, but by percentage, percentage,
horrible.
that would be like
That's horrible.
That would be like 20% of his body weight.
I don't even feel comfortable about
Saying
joking about a
Those
toddler
were some quick
cutting
maths
weight.
you did there.
That was pretty close too.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah, because he's about 25 pounds.
Oh, I thought it was 24.
Yeah,
Never mind. You're wrong.
Well, he is 24 pounds. I tried to round up because my second attempt at the maths, I thought 25 was what would have been correct.
Not a math pod.
I thought it was
Not a math
27.
pod.
27?
Yeah.
Yes.
We also have a goals update.
Oh, we do have a goals update.
We do. Coach Eddie sent us a goals update. It says Saturday was the kick-off of the 2024 WPL high school age season. Once again, he's coaching the girls and boys teams, and they played home games at Stewart Field. The girls played at 1 p.m., and they came away with a 6-1 win. Dominique Trevino was in goal, and she allowed one breakaway goal, but did record 14 saves.
Whoa.
A couple of highlights from the match are starters Hannah. By the way, we've been calling her Hannah. I found out it's Hannah.
Sorry.
Hannah Lassard.
Sorry, Hannah.
And Bristol Toll. Hannah is 13.
Bristol's not real.
Well, we don't exactly know. I feel like the fact that she's playing for the goals is confirmation. Like that. I mean, I know Acosta is famous for their conspiracy theory. Like they're making up people that do these really cool,
Famous for it.
unbelievable
Definitely
stuff.
very
Yeah.
famous
They're
for it.
famous for it. But the fact that they play for the goals, that'd be a pretty
Next level.
yeah.
Conspiracy. Their conspiracy are reaching out.
Yeah. So, highlights from the match, Hannah Lassard and Bristol Toll, who are both 13 years old. By the way, this is playing with high school age kids. Hannah played right back and played 75 minutes while Bristol played near the same.
Dang.
And Coach Eddie was very proud of them for their hard work in training and for executing on the field. The fact that they are years younger didn't even play a factor. Those two girls love to play. Hannah is also a member of the WPL Surf Academy. I think that's the last time we talked about her.
Yeah.
Was about Surf Academy.
Does it say what position Bristol played? It said
think
Hannah
she's
played right back, right?
Yeah, it says she played near the same, but it doesn't say
the
which
position.
position she was playing.
Well, Eddie messaged me earlier, so maybe he'll send me another message.
So next month, Hannah will be flying down to San Diego for a tournament with Surf.
San Diego.
And Bristol is a varsity player for Acosta, even as an 8th grader, a 13-year-old 8th grader.
Yep, she scores lots of goals.
She has scored 32 goals in 14 games for them this past season,
Wow.
which is pretty amazing.
That's I think you would say a lot.
That's a lot.
That seems like that'd be a lot of goals for a team.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goals coming from Ada Potts, who had 2, Olivia Ryan Van, and Bethany Henderson as well.
Those are a few names we know.
Yes.
heard
Assists
him before.
coming from Bristol, from Bethany, Scotland Lecomte, and from Ember Jones. The girls went undefeated in the past 20.
Sorry, Bristol is a forward.
Okay.
Eddie just messaged me.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
The girls went undefeated in the past 2023 WPL season and have now moved up and are continuing right where they left off. Eddie adds that it's an honor to be coaching them, and their captains were announced, which is Bethany Henderson, Amon Chima, Esmeralda Vega, and Marina Marl, which are all names I recognize from high school soccer. So, from the boys' side, they played at 3:30, and they were hosting TC United out of Thurston County. Coach Eddie says this game got wild
Sweet.
and an almost instant love-hate relationship out there.
Oh.
He thinks they have found their rival, which is fun.
Oh, let's go.
Like the rivalry between Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland in the MLS on the I-5 corridor, they will be making a name for that long road that separates Grays Harbor County and Thurston County, and they'll call it something. And that'll be the name of the rivalry.
Let's do it. The Black Hills Bash.
Highway 12?
The highway, or is it Highway 8?
It switches
between
from 12 to 8 at some point.
Yeah.
In there. Yeah.
It goes from 12 to 8 at Elma.
That's true.
So it's really
12
only
12
8
goes
between
south.
Grace Harbor. Yeah, 12 goes south to, also Thurston County.
That's okay.
Because Rochester is Thurston County.
From your reaction, I was assuming it wasn't, and I was wrong.
Well,
It's got to be a Black Hills something, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that
Because you
works.
got to go through the Black Hills to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll help you workshop that.
Highway
Yeah.
8.
We'll help you workshop it.
What?
Highway 8 works.
Yeah, Highway 8.
I mean, the last rivalry game we nicknamed, people loved it. The Grays Harbor Red rivalry.
Everybody
loved that.
loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
So the Gulls BO5 was looking to make an immediate impact as they felt robbed last season, taking second place by 1 point. I also agree that they were robbed. I don't know why, but I agree.
Yeah.
A game in the league was cost by a coaching error. Oh no.
A coaching error?
And overconfidence. Oh no.
Oh no.
A 3-player sub rotation, and it's a technical thing. So a coaching error led them to be second place instead of first.
What's the technical thing? I want to learn about it.
It says made a 3-player sub rotation and gave up 2 back-to-back goals, losing a game that they would have won.
Oh, brutal.
That won't happen this season.
Good.
The guys played strong and physical and sent a message last year. Goals came from Colby Mendoza. He had a pair, and Gio Castillo netted 1. Assists came from Gio Castillo. Assists came from Gio with a pair and 1 from Colby. It was the Colby Gio show, according to Coach Eddie. They also welcomed back the Renaissance man, Mateo Sanchez, who was able to play 1 game before heading back to California for college.
He just pops in and he's like, hey, I'd like to play a game. That's
and
awesome.
it's Mateo, so you let him do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever sport it is.
Yeah.
Volleyball, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, tetherball. It's Mateo Sanchez. You let him play.
That reminds me a little bit of when Eric Schmidtke used to play on my rec soccer team.
Yeah.
And he would never practice with us because it was during high school football season. And every now and then he would just show up to games and we would all get really excited and he'd play the whole game. And we'd be like, of course you let him play. It's Eric Schmidtke.
Yeah. Well, Mateo was a state champion wrestler, so he didn't play basketball. But if he came tomorrow and was like, hey, I want to play on your basketball team for one day, I'd let him do it.
You know what's weird?
What?
Eric Schmidtke also a state champion wrestler.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The parallels between Eric Schmidtke and Mateo Sanchez are just
right.
At least 2. The shutout was awarded to Antonio Granados, who came up big to ensure the shutout.
Let's go.
And a 3-0 win to start off the 2024 season. And the guys have now won 9 straight as they look to bring the championship home. Their captains are Julian Garcia, Isaiah Johnson, and Hugo Garcia. They have a 4th captain's band, and that band will be worn by a player who shows a positive attitude. Okay, so you pick a different captain every game. That's
nice.
Cool. And is willing to be a presence and help out as a leader. Yesterday it was Alan Avalos. Coach Eddie is excited for the season and can't wait to see how it unfolds. He also had nominees for Athlete of the Week for Colby and Gio. As he said, it was the Colby Gio show out there for the boys BO5 team. And let's see. For the girls, he wanted to nominate Bristol Toll, the 13-year-old 8th grader playing in U19, which is just crazy. And he said she plays in the WPL U19 Classic League with no fear. She scored 2 goals.
Of course she did.
And had an assist.
Jeez.
So he also wants to acknowledge Ada Potts, who played a great game as well. And the speedster on steel who scored the goal and had to play D in the second half to minimize opportunities for the girls. So, anyway, good stuff from Coach Eddie.
Good stuff, yeah.
I like actually seeing the BO9 team.
Yeah,
has kind of been the boys team that's gone up to 7 different leagues and they beat the aliens that came from outer space to try to take over Toonland or whatever.
Yeah.
But so that's been a team that we follow the most because they've had all this tremendous success and they just keep getting promoted and guys going off to Surf Academy and everything.
To play on superhero teams.
But the U19 teams are always fun to get updates for because it's a lot of kids that we know from playing high school sports.
Exactly.
So that part is fun.
Yeah, and apparently Mateo hasn't turned 19 yet. So he's just like, hey guys.
That's got to be happening any day now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Mateo's the man. Anyway, that is the goals update, and we'll have many more to come as their season has just started.
Wow. Starts in the winter soccer.
Well, I think they have a season.
I played in the fall, and that was always super stormy and wet, but man, winter's got to be super cold.
I think they have a season in each season, but I remember Coach Daniel telling
I thought
us
he said they have a break in the
they
summer.
have one season that they do something like completely different.
Yeah.
But we really need to at some point have
We just
a
need to
Zoom
have them on.
with Coach Eddie and Coach Daniel, and we can talk through some of these things because I feel like we always end up having lots of questions.
I would blame you for this, except for you do all the work as it is. So
Andrew sent us a message today to ask if we had a guest today.
yeah.
And every time I get that text, I'm like, I failed.
No,
We go
no,
through
no,
another
no, no.
week without having a guest.
You get that?
Yeah.
Every time he sends that message, I'm like, man, I haven't thought about the show once this week. I'm just kidding. But
Well,
still.
I thought about it one time.
Nice. Well
Yeah.
done.
Thank
Well
you.
done, that man.
Justin, that isn't meant to point fingers or anything. It's just meant to clear because it's entirely possible we could have talked about a guest and I could have forgotten.
I didn't think that you had like intentions of making me feel bad. It's
No.
an internal
Okay.
pressure that I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm just gonna put a mailbag section in here.
Uh-oh.
Just letting you know, but I'm just putting it in. We'll tell you about the topic later.
Okay.
But first, we are. Oh gosh, dang it! I can't type and do this next part at the same time.
Oh, you're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah. Commercial break. Dang it. Yes, it is time for a commercial break. And that commercial break is Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple. Get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small-town real estate. Also, if you want to watch some cool videos, you can watch one of their realtors, Chris Wood, who does a lot of cool real estate videos. You can find him on Facebook as well. And I know I've found a lot of his videos to be very informational and helpful, looking at the ever-changing real estate market, which has, it's definitely very interesting. He also, I think, hosts a group that gets together. Andrew, the camera's still...
For what it's worth, Daniel,
What?
I bought this house
Yeah?
after you sent me an email that you got from Chris Wood.
That's true. I did.
That is how I originally became aware that this house was for sale.
Which house?
This house.
The one you're in.
Oh.
That Chris Wood was sending me houses in Grace Harbor, and I saw this one, and I thought, Andrew would like this house.
Yeah.
And it turns out Daniel was right.
Nailed it. That
You're
was like
so-
best friend points right there. I'm so that might be like one of my biggest accomplishments
Every
in life.
time this ever comes up, Daniel's face lights up like a Christmas tree. It's
totally
one of your
does.
proudest accomplishments of your
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my dad corrected me. His name's Pirog now. Yes, Chris Pirog. That's how you find him on Facebook. His married name, Pirog. Yes.
Dad for the win.
Yes, thank you,
You
Dad.
lose
Huge
now.
respect.
Yeah, if you're trying to find the other one, that wouldn't work. But yeah, Chris Pirog on Facebook. He's been voted, I think, Grace Harbor's best realtor a couple times too. So, yeah, very knowledgeable dude who does a ton of work and makes cool videos. You were indisposed, but I was talking about Chris's cool videos.
I've been here. I was here the whole time.
You were here the whole time?
Yeah.
Sneaky.
The Spivey graphic was up, so as far as everyone else is concerned, I was here the whole time.
We have another tough decision as usual.
Yeah.
Spivey Athlete of the Week, who re-upped as our sponsor, by the way. Nailed it.
Thank you, Spivey, for
Thank
not
you.
only supporting us, but supporting the local
Yes.
sports community and all the youth that play sports in Grays Harbor and Pacific County.
Yes, absolutely. We are so grateful to both of our sponsors.
So
Also, the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz.
Yes. No relation.
What's the A stand for?
We'll run through the nominations here, and I have a direction that I'm leaning, but I want to know what your initial thoughts were as well. So the first one coming from...
You are leaning Montesano. Sorry.
He's leaning a little bit to the south.
The first nomination actually comes from Elma Wrestling, and it's Xavier Espinoza, who not only won 3 matches by pinfall to take the 106-pound weight class at the Castle Rock tournament on Saturday, but also last week won first place in the 113-pound weight class. So a couple of really good, strong performances. I feel sometimes a little bad that we haven't had quite as much wrestling in the roundup, but there just hasn't really been very much in the newspaper about it. So I got these Elma updates by actually reaching out to their coach, Jeff Catterlin, who sent me a bunch of information. So thanks a lot to Coach Catterlin for getting back to me on that. And I want to make sure that these wrestlers get their recognition as well, because I feel like a lot of times we don't talk about it much at all until it gets to like sub-districts and all that different stuff.
Yep.
And then we have to have it explained to us because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, Xavier Espinoza, that's a name I remember from last year. He was excellent last year, and he is excellent again this year. Also from Aberdeen girls basketball, I threw Zoe Tro on here. They played on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, picking up wins on Thursday and Friday, and she scored 40 points across those 2 wins.
Whoa.
So that was a pretty big accomplishment. I also put Tiander Olsen for Monty girls basketball. Tiander is a freshman.
Yep.
She's good. 18 points in a win over Tenino, and then in a win over Eatonville, she had 16 points, 8 assists, and 4 steals. So excellent week for Tiander Olsen. And then the last one is Traden Carter from Elma boys basketball. He had 12 points in the win over Hoquiam, but scored 7 points, their last 7 points as a team, including the game-winning basket and the free throw that gave them that 1 extra point of security at the end of the game.
Just picking on my Grizzlies there. Just picking on them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we're only a few weeks removed from you being concerned that we were going to have...
I don't know what you're talking about.
You knew where I was going.
Nope,
with that.
don't know what you're about to say.
Well, I'll tell you
but I
later.
don't want you to say it.
I don't need to say it over the air, but I have to say it out loud, so
Yes.
I'll tell you on the way home.
Yeah. Something tells me you don't need to say it. I eating some pie on that one. Good old humble pie.
Anyway, Andrew, do you have a direction you're leaning on this?
Nope.
Daniel?
I do. Yeah, I've got a direction I'm leaning on this.
Okay.
Yeah. What are we going to say what direction?
Okay, on the count of 3. Ready? Say the name on 3. 1, 2, 3. Xavier
Zoe Tro.
Espinoza.
Oh, dang it.
Darn it. I thought
Andrew
we were
was
gonna have
with
it
me
the
on
same
that
thing.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Andrew was with me. But now I'm wondering wrestling, because you brought up the point about how we never talk about wrestling until it gets to
Well,
whatever
and
those things
it's
are.
not even just that, but like if you look at
Sub-districts is still weird.
Disrespect.
Sorry,
Whatever those things are.
no, it's because it's not.
Sub-districts is confusing.
No, I think it's not sub-districts. I think that their districts are called sub-regionals.
What?
Now that I'm thinking about it, isn't that what it is? So you have regionals, but before you have regionals, you have
Well,
sub-regionals.
again, why are you putting a sub on something? There's a word that literally means whatever you're trying to say without the sub.
What is it?
It's not wrestling's fault that they're just throwing sub in front of something. Well, sub-regionals would be districts.
Yeah,
Yeah. And sub-districts would be league.
yeah.
And if you, like...
But are there sub-districts?
And if there
or
was...
did I just say that and it wasn't actually?
Yeah, I don't know. You might have just said it.
I know that when these things...
There was a sub once, wasn't there?
There was sub-regionals, I think is what it is. I think districts are called sub-regionals.
Exactly. So why
But
did they make
again,
it-
I'm going
These
to
are
sound
under
so
the-
stupid if I get
The
I could be
supervision
wrong.
of the WIAA, right? Why wouldn't you have consistent...
Dude, that's
But
why...
see, okay, so that's my only point is that across all other sports, it's districts, regionals, and state.
Yeah.
So,
League, districts, regional, state.
but there's probably
Every now and then you have a division within a league, but that's
but
pretty
I
rare.
think there's probably a reason why they call it something different, and I don't know what it is. So I don't want to come at it like, oh, wrestling, why can't you get this right?
Yeah,
Because the wrestling community already kind of hates me.
that's true. My dad wanted to nominate. My dad just shot in a nomination for Bristol Toll and Hannah, who are 13-year-old girls playing against. Well, he actually specifically for Bristol playing against 19-year-olds scoring 2 goals
And thank you to your dad because I needed to go back into
and an assist.
the message because there was a nomination for Hana as well as for Colby and Gio from the U19 team. The only thing that's playing against those guys, honestly, is that it's just the league opener, and like a lot of these things are a little further into like they're just starting their season, and these other teams are getting to like the meat of the season.
Yeah, tasty meat.
Yeah, tasty meat.
Steak.
So
the stakes are high.
Had a chicken fried steak today from Brunch 101.
That sounds good.
It was pretty good. First time I've been to Brunch 101. I enjoyed it.
It's good stuff.
Good spot.
I would recommend if you go again to get the chicken and waffles.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, right?
The person,
but they could be.
The person I was there with, got the chicken and waffles, and it looked so good.
Amazing.
If you go to Brunch 101, tell them that they should sponsor us.
Yeah, do it.
In fact, if you go to any delicious restaurant,
not the gross ones. Well, we don't take money from gross restaurants.
we wouldn't feel comfortable being endorsing people that we don't enjoy.
Yeah. That's a lie. We'd be fine with it. Yeah, we'll recommend anything. Just give us money. Anyway, we had the goals nominees to throw in there.
Yes. So yeah. What are we feeling now after adding those bit of commentary? Andrew and I were listening.
Now towards Tiandra Olsen.
Oh, get out of here.
Look at the week she had.
Get out.
She had a great week.
Get out.
2 league wins. She had 18 points in one, and then 16 points, 8 assists, and 4 steals in another.
Yeah, but Zoe Tro had 40 points in her 2 wins.
Yeah.
And if I know Zoe Tro, she had a ton of other stats as well.
Well, in the second game, it said. Well, in the second game, it said she had 6 rebounds. I think.
Yeah.
It was in the
roundup. The second one, Annie had 6 rebounds. In the first one, Zoe had 5 points, 13 rebounds, and 6. Are you mixing up Tros? Uh-oh, Justin. Did you mix up your Tros? Was it Annie Tro who had 40 points?
40 points. Yeah, Annie had 40 points. It's not my fault. They look exactly alike.
It's like they're twins or something.
I apologize officially to both Zoe and Annie and anyone who I've hurt with my mistake. If by some chance Annie watched this show,
and if
she would just be like, "What? You're giving all my points to my sister?"
Yeah, exactly. Annie, hop in the comments.
Annie, 40 points. Annie Tro, 40 points across 2 games, and in the second game, she had 6 rebounds.
Yeah. But I've watched both of the Tros play. She had to have some steals. Like if there was a game where a Tro didn't have like 5 steals, I'd be surprised. That's just how I watch him play.
Is Andrew still laughing at me? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah.
I can't believe that we were on the verge of awarding an athlete of the week.
What if we did it? Like, I would have caught it though. I would have caught it before I posted it.
Would you? Yeah. Before you posted it?
Yeah.
What about Andrew posting the show? That's hilarious. Oh, now we have to give it to her. Our athlete of the week is Annie. It's got to be.
Not Zoe?
Congratulations. Zoe needs to step it up.
Zoe had a great game. She had 5 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 steals against Raymond South Bend.
Yeah.
13 rebounds. Makes
just
me
that
feel like I like her game better.
So much
Zoe
guilt.
does a little bit more of the dirty work, but she's also clutch. Like in the game that I watched against Aberdeen, she did the dirty work the whole game, and then her sister fouled out, and she stepped up the scoring, including hitting the game-winning bucket with 10 seconds left.
Wow.
So, yeah, she's awesome, too. But most of the time, Annie does the majority of the scoring. I think.
So Tiandra Olsen,
No.
really good week.
She did have a great week.
Yeah.
She had a great week. But I don't think she had the best week.
Okay. I feel really like you could get away with whatever you want right now. This is like the time that I made the typo on Maddie Gore's name in the
yes,
and you read it
out
loud, and you were like, that doesn't sound right. And I was like, oh no. This is bad. I'm sorry. So I apologize to all Tros. I apologize to every Tro that I've hurt.
What's their older brother's name? Was he a state champion high jumper? No. He was a really good high jumper. Oh, what was his name? He worked at Tinderbox for a while
guess
too.
Like I did when we were on our way out here, and you were trying to come up with a last name.
No, that was the worst.
David, Michael,
Gosh dang
Joe,
it.
Tyler, Andrew, Daniel, Hannah,
You're the
Paximus.
worst.
Now I'm just looking at things around the room.
I'll find it before the show's over. So
Just type in Aberdeen Tro State Champ into the old Google machine.
what if all the recent stuff is just saying their sister
Okay,
or
so
his sisters.
So I will just go ahead and filibuster while you do that, and I'll just officially announce, like you already did.
There we go.
Congratulations to Annie Tro of Aberdeen Girls Basketball. You are our Spivey Athlete of the Week for scoring 40 points across 2 wins for the Bobcats on Thursday and Friday, and helping your team get to 8-5 on the season. So congratulations, Bobcats, and congratulations to Annie Tro.
Absolutely. Another huge week, and both the Tros are going to have a lot of big weeks throughout the season. So, yeah, glad that we got the names right there. Andrew Tro. You think I would have remembered that?
I said Andrew.
Did you really?
I was right.
Andrew Tro.
Yes. No, I wasn't right earlier when I was trying to guess a last name.
Yeah. Okay. We got a short mailbag to get to.
Okay.
And the first thing of the short mailbag.
Wait, we're going to the mailbag?
Yes, we're going to the mailbag.
The mailbag.
Yes,
Send
the mailbag.
us your stuff. Send us your stuff in a mailbag.
The first part of the mailbag is we were talking about Mateo's age and how he came back for that one game and how he's probably almost too old. Coach Eddie shot a message to us after hearing us talk about that, and he said that they had a tournament team who complained to the ref that Mateo was 30 years old.
Because he's so strong that it's
He just-
impossible that he could be a
30
teenager.
seems excessive.
30 seems excessive.
He does have old man strength, though. Like,
he does. He looks older. He's one of those teenagers that looks a little bit older than your average kid. Like, you look at that guy and you're like, man, I think that guy could have like a full beard if he wanted to. Remember?
Mateo
but I
kind of
feel
has
like-
a beard.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like little league teams in the World Series complaining about somebody being like
Onse.
30 instead of like maybe 8th grade.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was pretty funny, though,
That's good.
since we were talking about it. But the mailbag question is, does anybody else have the problem? And I completely missed it. The first one, I pulled up to Justin's, where I picked Justin up today, and I said, oh, was it a birthday party for your niece? And he said, yes. And I was like, super smarmily, Andrew, I said, I deduced that by all of the young girls coming out of the house that it was a birthday party for your niece. And he was like,
And he was like, I said it was.
and he was like, or could it have been yesterday that I said I'm going to my niece's birthday party tomorrow?
And Daniel's like, no, I don't listen to what you say.
Then
Daniel, I was just earlier when you asked if he ever got irritated with you cutting him off.
Yeah.
Of course he doesn't. He doesn't listen to what you're saying.
Good point, actually.
But he does have to stop while I'm saying it. That's what I was worried about. But then, Andrew, on the way here, I then said, hey, didn't you tell me that you were not only in the title game of our fantasy league, but also you and Andrew were in the title game of that other fantasy league we're all in? And he's like, no, I said we were in the third place game. And I was like, oh, well, that is significantly less impressive. Why did you even bring it up? And he's like, I'm pretty sure that I said third place game in the message. And he pulls it up, and yes, he absolutely did.
Listen,
So basically,
I'm impressed with myself for being in the third place game because my team had some horrible weeks.
I was here. Do you know how many people I told? Yeah. Justin and I are in the title game of one league, and Justin and Andrew are in the title game of another league. And we don't even, do all the deep homework of fantasy football.
no.
Our show's just that good. And then At some point this week, somebody said, "Congratulations for winning the league again, Joel." And I was like, Joel? He wasn't even in the title game. How did he win the league?
The worst part about that was the way you presented me with, why did you, it was like you were annoyed with me. You were like, you told me you were in the title game, and then Joel won, and I look like an idiot.
Yes, because when Justin posted it, the thrust of his post was, "There's this title game, and I'm also in this other game that doesn't matter."
But all I saw, because what was the exact message you said was like,
Clash of the
Titans for a championship, and for third place, the clash of these other Titans or something like that.
Titans? Question mark, I think.
And my brain literally went, Clash of Titans, 2 title games.
This is what happens when you only read most of a sentence. The meaning changes a lot.
I'm the worst. Anyway, that's what I had for mailbag.
That was good.
Daniel
We should do
needs
more
a sentence
mailbags
with
of
more
Daniel just
declensions.
making fun of himself.
Language. Daniel needs a language with more declensions.
Yes. And also to learn what the word declensions means. I also got this really cool hat for my birthday.
It is a cool hat.
Yeah. My wife gets good hats.
That is a dope hat.
Yeah. Did I mention it was my birthday?
Happy birthday, Daniel!
That was an overreaction.
What you just did,
Yeah, I'm getting emotional, not gonna lie.
I know you did it as a joke to be funny. It's the equivalent of a gender reveal. How much attention do you need?
Oh, definitely not that much when you're 35.
Did I mention it's my friend's birthday?
I'm so old.
It was your niece's birthday, right?
Well,
Yeah.
not exactly the day, though. It's just the party day.
Well, mine was yesterday, so
Oh.
today was just the day after.
So it's not even your birthday?
Justin, well-known hater of people who celebrate birthdays.
Exactly.
And birthdays in general.
When Justin was my supervisor at work, I used to try to get my birthday off before he realized that I was asking for my birthday off.
Yeah.
Good call. Good
I
plan
had
there.
one employee who actually told me I lied about why I was taking that day off because I didn't want you to know it was my birthday.
That's awesome.
Because my favorite line was, "You want a day off for your birthday? What are you, a 9-year-old girl?"
Yes.
I was a different person back then. I'm much more sensitive now.
Are you?
Yeah,
He's a happier person.
You're a happier person.
that's true.
Are you really?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
it's more sensitive for sure. Try me.
With
Tell me
what?
it's your birthday.
I just did, and you laughed at me. You laughed at me and made fun of me. You said it was like a gender reveal.
Another thing I despise.
Did you guys see Big Poppy's gender reveal where he whiffed?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the one thing he can't do.
So good.
You know what though? There is that is one great thing that has come from gender reveal videos.
Is the fails.
fails.
Yeah.
I watched one the other day where they do the baseball thing where the girl pitches it to the guy and he hits it and it doesn't break and it goes right back and smacks the woman in the dead in the middle of the face. It was so funny.
I think you have a ways to go on your sensitivity training.
Dang it.
That's the first fail video you listed. Wasn't only one where they messed it up, but that someone was physically injured.
You know what the worst part was? The guy didn't even feel bad.
Oh, that is the worst
It
part.
made it better though. It was funny.
Yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. Also, at some point during the show, I noticed these delicious lemon bars on the table and asked Hannah if we could eat them, and she said yes. I've been doing my best to leave half of them for you.
You know what, dude? I ate lunch at Brunch 101, and then I had French fries at a birthday party and cake. So you go ahead. And
birthday party with French fries?
It was a French fry party.
It was a French. Oh, this is cool, actually.
Yeah, this is a good mailbag.
French fry. Pax hit me. He was mad that I wasn't petting him.
That's true.
It was a French fry themed birthday party where they went.
Who is this kid? That's a great theme for a birthday
she's
party.
Pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
So the idea was, in addition to all the decorations and the cake being French fry themed, they went to several different local fast food places, got French fries from all of them, set them up with numbers, and then you had to guess which French fry came from which fast food restaurant.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
We do that with burgers.
It's almost like we've done that with burgers before.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Whatever happened to that footage?
I was so pissed.
Do you not have it? You should have it.
I think he should have it.
I was so mad because I mixed up Burger King and Wendy's.
Justin,
it was
failed,
unacceptable. I got the other ones, but I mixed up Burger King and Wendy's.
Did they have anything from Grizzly Den?
No, it was fast food. It was fast food places.
Waffle
just fast food fries.
I think I think that because fast food places, you could just like get it quick, hit all of them, and bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
I would call it
and get a lot of them for cheap,
and then run around. But
well, it's also cheaper to get enough fries for an entire birthday party full of people.
True.
But Justin then was given the pity trophy because apparently first place wasn't allowed to be awarded to the true winner.
Yeah, because
his nephew,
lived there.
because he lived there.
Yeah.
So then there was a 4-way tie for second place, of which Justin and his wife stole it from a child.
Well, see, here's
the
what
fact
happened.
that there was a 4-way tie for second place. I'm going to go back and say that you should have got more
fries.
Got more fries.
It was a 4-way tie for second place between me, my wife, my 17-year-old son, and a random 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And my sister's response.
Would steal from a 12-year-old girl.
There was a prize. So
there was a prize too? You didn't tell me there was a prize.
There was a prize, and my
you
nephew
stole it?
Well, listen to. I didn't steal it. I'm
not really interested in listening.
Theft.
I annihilated my 17-year-old son in rock paper scissors.
That's
while
something
my
you should
wife took out the 12-year-old girl.
Not something you should do.
So then I was like, "You feel good about that?" And she said, "No, I don't feel good about it." But I still had a game to win, so it was me against my wife in rock paper scissors for the championship and the prize, and I won. So sue me. I got the McDonald's gift card, and I gave it to the 12-year-old girl.
There you go.
That's fair.
Because I felt peer pressure.
He's clearly grown.
Thank you for being honest. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you so much for listening to The Scrimmage. And thank you to my co-host, Justin, the ever honest, best at guessing first names, but terrible at guessing last names, Damashevitz.
And my co-host, Daniel Steven Hargrove.
And our trusty producer, Andrew, the declination expert?
Declension.
Declension?
Declension.
Declension, not declination.